every night I fell asleep listening to your wonderful music. I didn't let him turn the lights on, so it was very dark. I mean, it's just like I was trying to seduce him.
Today, I wanted to talk about the Smiths. I'm a big fan of the Smiths, and I know you are as well. So I know you photographed every single one except Morrissey. Yeah, the one that got away.
Well, maybe if he's watching this, get in touch, please.
Desperate cry.
No, I'd love to photograph him, and
even after.
I don't care. As I say, he could be Zieg Heiling down Brick Lane or something. I mean, obviously, some people think he should be cancelled and written out of kind of popular culture, but I can't help what he meant to me when I was a kid.
So you photographed Johnny Marr last, and then you photographed Rourke and
Joyce
first.
Oh, you're a big Smiths fan, Fred.
Yeah. Well, I know Johnny Marr and Morrissey, and I do love the Smiths, but I'm not obsessed like you.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about it. Tell us about the first shoot.
Well, the first shoot was as it should be, sort of professional, everything above board, everything tickety-boo. I went up to Manchester to the Canal Bar, which is was a venue. I don't know if it exists now. It probably does. To photograph Mike Joyce and Andy Rourke. I was at a transition where I'd been working for the NME, and I'd been sneakily working for Select, this other magazine, a competitor, different publisher, and this was one of the first jobs they gave me.
Which is a big no-no. You can't two-time magazines like that. And
I basically was working under a pseudonym because of that. So Rosa Weeks was a girl I was going out with at the time, so I was crediting all my pictures to Rosa Weeks, and eventually they found out, and I knew the game was up because the last job I did for the NME they credited Rosa Weeks. So
that must have been quite a shock.
Well, I've been found out. It's embarrassing, but I jumped ship and I was with Select. So I went up to Manchester, Mike Joyce, Andy Rourke. I photographed them 35mm, while they were being interviewed, black and white. Actually, looking at the pictures now, they're quite good pictures. Most of them have never seen the light of day. And then I set up a studio. I wanted to, at that point, show Select that I was a really good photographer. I was more of a studio photographer that they could entrust with these big shoots. And so I set up a studio in the bar, and white backdrop. There's a lot of flare going on. So technically, I wasn't using
flare from light.
Yeah, light's positioned in the wrong place, and as a result, back then I wasn't using an assistant. I didn't realise you could have an assistant. It's just me driving up to Manchester. I mean, looking at my diary, it's mental. I did a job in Peterborough, then I drove up to Manchester, and then I drove back down to Nottingham and stayed with Rosa Weeks.
Oh, there you go. Cool. So
they came out fine. The pictures were used across 2 pages in Select, and job done. That was in February 93. And then in October 93, I got the big call,
For Johnny Marr.
Johnny Marr.
But before we go on to that, I'm going to quickly put up on screen your favourite image from the first shoot with Rourke and Joyce. Tell us why that this hero image you're currently looking at is your favourite.
Well, I haven't actually gone through them to kind of to pick out a hero, but there's some nice, strong, simple, graphic, Bailey-esque kind of imagery.
Okay.
And there will be a hero image that appears.
Okay.
But I haven't actually, it's one of those shoots that at the time they seemed like peripheral figures. It was more a job that I'd been given that I did have an interest in because I love the Smiths, but for me they were peripheral figures. And it's only now that I realise what a brilliant bassist and drummer, but particularly what a melodic bassist Rourke was, and how he was an integral part of the Smiths' sound.
Yeah, that's where drums and bass never get the credit they deserve.
No, it's the same with the Beatles. Apparently, Ringo was a brilliant drummer of his type, and it's all part of that chemistry, that sort of kind of recipe, that all comes together, sort of serendipity, and makes something really special. And the Smiths were really special.
So Johnny Marr, we're going to him.
Yeah, so that was at this fancy hotel on Marylebone Road called Regent's Hotel, and he was being interviewed by Stuart Marconi, who's Radio 1 and then Radio 2 presenter now. He's really well known, really mainstream guy. I did lots of jobs with him. All of the people that I worked with at the NME, they all went on to Radio 1. Steve Lamacq, all these people. Anyway, he was doing the interview. Downstairs was sort of big natural light area, and I did a couple of pictures there while the interview was in full swing, using just daylight. And I was really keen to get something strong and quite overwhelmed. Like my heart's beating now. I mean, it's Johnny Marr. I mean, we've done videos on like Ian Brown and Oasis. They're just similar, but this is the original and the best as far as I'm concerned, and I was just overwhelmed. I was emotionally overwhelmed. I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, I was just completely starstruck because I kept thinking back to like the bedsit like a house full of students where I lived, and how I had a little Sony Walkman and I'd listen to the Hatful of Hollow. It was so cheap. It was like a little kind of mini album, and I'd listen to it over and over and over and over again. And then I bought Meat is Murder, and I just I mean, they were so important to me. Yeah. And so suddenly I'm here. I'm in London now. I'm a photographer, and I'm meeting this guy that was the kind of genesis of this stuff that made my life worth living.
You shouldn't have been really given the job, I feel like.
Well, they say never meet
conflict of interest.
Well, they say never meet your heroes. I'll tell you what happened. So basically, I took him upstairs. He was really kind. He said we could shoot in his hotel room.
I can just imagine going upstairs with him.
Yeah, no assistant, just me and him.
The heart racing, sweating.
Kind of homoerotic. Really, really weird and odd. And I was very intense back then. And we got into the hotel room, and I wanted to use the available light. And there wasn't much available light coming in through the window, but I didn't let him turn the lights on, so it was very dark. I mean, it's just like I was trying to seduce him. And I just took a few frames, and then I just couldn't resist it. And I made the mistake that, should be avoided. And I've never done this since. I learned a valuable lesson. I basically said to him, I just want to say, I mean, he must hear this all the time, but I was just like...
Not locked in a room with the person saying it.
No, just like really intense. As Polly would say, ick. So basically I said, I just want to say, every night when I was at college, I fell asleep listening to your wonderful music. And it was like a long pause. There's like no assistant or anything to sort of like lighten the mood, or no PA of his or anything, just me and him. And I mean, what can he say to that? It's just a completely stupid thing to say. And he's Johnny Marr, so he was really cool. He was very professional. He won't remember that it's not a big deal to him or anything, but it was just mortifying to me.
Yeah, still stay up at night thinking about that moment.
Yeah, I mean,
embarrassed.
When I think back, I should have not gone to his hotel room. I should have taken him outside in the street. I could have done an environmental portrait, like with Liam. Mm-hmm. I could have done something lighter, and
Well, yeah, you always said you wanted. You just said earlier in a video that you wanted to prove to Select that you're a studio photographer. You deserve these big things. I think your best pictures aren't in a studio.
Yeah,
they're out on the street.
Yeah, I think I'm an environmental photographer. I do 100%. Like the environment. I quite often put people into interesting spaces and then record what happens. So that's rule number one. Keep your powder dry. Yeah. Even if what you have to say is purely complimentary, just keep it to yourself. And I have done it since when I've thought that I'm kind of getting on with people, and it's always a mistake because it puts you on a different level. Mm-hmm. And you don't
want to put them on a pedestal.
No, they don't want acolytes. They don't want kind of sycophantic flunkies surrounding them. They just want to have a human exchange with someone real. They value that. And so suddenly I just became like every other person. In every day of his life, he must have people coming up to him saying that.
And then Morrissey, finally, not yet complete.
Yeah. Hopefully it will happen. Morrissey, if you're watching this, I basically would love to photograph. He's not watching it, but basically, I don't hold out any hope.
Maybe message him. Like, he's probably not.
Yeah, but how would you message? I have thought about that. I mean, there's a few people that I'd like to photograph, and I just do it for nothing. I just really relish the opportunity. But then, because of that, you're changing the dynamic. So maybe it's not going to happen. I just have to be commissioned. I mean, Peru's photographed Morrissey.
Wow, you must be jealous.
Yeah, I am. I am. I'm jealous of anyone who's met him. You know, he probably might be a tricky customer.
And similarly to the first shoot, which hero image is your favourite? The one up on screen right now, and why is it your favourite?
I don't think it's one of my best shoots. We won't be doing a print. I mean, I could do a print. Do you know what? Actually, I think I was also hampered by. This is a bit unkind saying this, but I think Johnny Marr at that point. I don't think it was peak Johnny Marr.
Right.
Peak Johnny Marr would be when when the Smiths in the end of the 80s, I'd say.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of maybe he was in a good place, and he was sort of like doing this as a sort of press obligation, but he wasn't really. I don't know what he was promoting or whatever. But I think that's part of the reason why the pictures, they're okay. I mean, I think he has his shades on for pretty much all the pictures.
Okay.
But we'll put one up. I mean, they're okay. They're
Okay.
fine. But they're not like pictures that I will ever put in my portfolio or anything.
Yep. Cool. I think that's good. And I'll upload all of the contact sheets to Patreon, and you can take a look at them there. Sweet.
And Morrissey, if you're watching, I'm waiting.
He ain't going to message you.
Well, you never know.